guys, welcome back to Rocket Gyan, my fellow space tubers. So okay, I am today so much excited. I can't even tell you, because today is the day when we will actually see one air launched rocket to the orbit, and that too in an actual live stream. This will be my first live stream in which I myself will be seeing one air launch rocket. So what this air launch rocket all about, what does it have, we will talk about everything. And by the name only you must have known that the Virgin Orbit is like a very known company, right? I mean, the Virgin company basically is a very known company, we all know that. But they are pushing their boundaries and coming into space with the Virgin Galactic and the Virgin Orbit. So these two companies come under same what do I say, company, but these two branches come under same company, but yes, they do have their own things to operate. So hi everyone, hi Carl Northeast, hi Anna, hi Brajesh, hi Androm Gaming. I'm good. How are you? I'm so excited today. Let's just jump into it and talk about this mission today. Okay, so let me just yes, so first of all, air launch rocket. What is it? What is this air launch thing which we have? This is literally, like Anna said, this is like dropping a missile, but it's simple. The difference between missile and this thing is that, first of all, missile is highly maneuverable. It has one warhead. It goes to the ground basically most of the time. It is not intended to go to space, but here same thing will be same thing will be done here, but this time the missile section actually will be going to space. It will have enough delta V to carry the customer payloads to the space. So let's have a look at that. They basically focus on the small sat market. As you can see here, they don't have a very big rocket, which we obviously see from their this video. They don't have a very big rocket. Their rocket is very much comparable to Electron, even small, I would say shorter than Electron in some ways, because obviously it needs some less delta V than Electron. So yeah, responsive scheduling, this is a very their what do I say, their plus point for this responsive scheduling, which means you don't have to wait for you to schedule a ride to space. Like SpaceX Falcon 9, we have transporter mission, we have dedicated rideshare missions, which happens at a certain date, right? Every quarterly they have every quarter they have planned some missions, and every quarter they launch the rideshare missions. Cool. But because of that, the small sat market companies basically have to wait for a long time, and they don't get to even get a launch opportunity because of that, because everything is all booked. And yes, with this you can just book your own date and launch the rocket, launch your payload as per as you wish. And yes, since it is an air launch rocket, so it can theoretically achieve any inclination. How cool is that? It is not limited to any launch site as such, because airplane can itself go to any inclination, anywhere, wherever it wants to go, and then it can drop the payload, the basically the rocket, the LauncherOne rocket as we say that, and it can go to space. So you can see they have this equatorial orbit, they have their inclination orbit, and they have this polar orbit, and today they will be going to a polar orbit. So man, this is so cool, right? And yes, their hardware, they have what do they mean by this hardware rich, is that they have optimized their manufacturing capability to manufacture around 12 rockets every year, and it will basically expand as the time move forwards and they do multiple launches. So this is a very cool thing. And quick stats, yes, as I said, they are not a very big rocket capable company. They are just launching 300 to 500 kg, 300 to sun synchronous orbit, which is a polar orbit, 500 kg if you are going to a equatorial orbit, and their range of orbital inclination ranges from 0 to 120 degree. Yes, this is their limitation, you can say, but theoretically they can achieve anything. I am telling you right now, this limitation basically is because of their runway which they have got. They have like 3 locations all over the world which they have booked for them to launch. As the time progresses, they acquire more runways. Basically, they don't even need a launch site, right? They just need one runway where aircraft can come and take off and basically land also. That's it. They only need that. So yes, they will be acquiring more of those runways and basically expanding their launch capabilities. How cool is that? So let's have a look at their launcher system. Basically, right now we just had an overview. Now let's have a look at their launcher system. Why they picked air launch instead of ground one despite getting so less delta V advantage? Nope. I'll tell you why did they pick this air launch. The delta V requirement, I won't say it's less, it is significant. That's why they have picked it. I mean, I will tell you why am I saying that. Okay, so first of all, yes, you can go to any orbit, high, medium, low. We have seen that. And yes, this is their pitch line. You are the boss, ride with a friend, made for constellations and rapid response. Made for constellation means that they are looking for a long-term contract. If you have like constellation planned, you can have all the constellations satellite deployed from this LauncherOne rocket itself. And yes, they are arguing that they will be around launching around 20 rockets and in 1 year, and they will be progressing further with it also. So yes, the phase 1, the pre-launch process, as they say, the contracting. No one wants to spend half a year or more in contracts or purgatory. So we have focused our efforts on making sure our contracting process is as efficient and agile as possible, which is so cool. I mean, the customers, yes, like if I am going to send one satellite to space, I would very much want that contracting and all those paperwork does not take time, and we have one efficient program in space in place. So that is good thing. The mission design, from acquiring the perfect separation system to planning launch logistics, our mission managers will guide you. So I don't know what happens with the other aerospace companies, obviously, because I'm not launching my own satellite yet, so I don't know how do they work. But if all the companies are working in a similar fashion, but they are listing it on their website, that's a plus point, I would say that. Because if I'm a new person who are just joined in, right, and I'm looking in forward there to their website, I can get everything that I want, and obviously that will slightly tilt me over to their launch provider, right? So yes, these services, these are like good services. Basically, these are essential services. You don't need some headache of contracting, the mission design, the logistics and everything. So the analysis, the testing thing, the payload integration things, everything should be handled with carefulness and the thing which a customer would want. Okay, this is the payload processing arrival day. You can see that how do they manage all this thing. When your satellite arrives at our payload processing facility, it will feel right at home in our strictly regulated clean room. Cool. And then first we carefully join the satellite to a snug adapter, after which you are free to perform any pre-encapsulation testing you want. So they yeah, they join the satellite, they place the satellite or whatever they have on the adapter. And then the customer can themselves do any pre encapsulation, which means before closing the fairing, if they have to do any testing. Then the encapsulation, then we can encase the adapter in our standard clamshell payload fairing, installing all the bolts along the fairing seam and at the base of the adapter, and this will all happen in front of you. I must say that because I saw one review of their customer, and he said literally everything was live streamed to them, and they could actually just check in whenever they want how their progress is going on. So this is really cool. In the openness they are showing to their customer, that is cool. Almost ready to go, and then the final preparations which will happen at the LauncherOne's trailer. They have this trailer also in which they what do you say, attach the payload fairing to the LauncherOne rocket. Okay, so yeah, talking about this 3 launch site, they have these 3 launch sites right now. You can see that one in US, one in Guam, and United Kingdom. So they have right now 3, and right now they're operating from this US launch site only, and today they will be launching from this Mojave desert, as they say. So yeah, that is the thing. Now all the boring stuff gone. We are directly into the launch process here. So let's have a look at this. First of all, they are using a Boeing 747. Man, they have literally converted one passenger Boeing 747 into their requirement aircraft. I mean, if you will see their pictures, as in how they have converted, they have literally taken off all the seats from inside. Everything is very much related to having, see, they are going to a high altitude, right? The aircraft itself is going to a high altitude. So if you want an high altitude experiment to go with you, then you can have that luxury also with this thing, because you can place that your experiment in the aircraft, and it can go with that. So yes, this is the aircraft. They have named it Cosmic Girl. This is Boeing 747, and it takes off from the runway to the height of around 35,000 feet, which is around 10,000 meters. From there it separates the payload, which means the rocket, and after 3 seconds the engines light up, and then the rocket go on to space. So that's a rough process which it follows. Takeoff, the rocket deployment, and this rocket deployment happens at 27-degree pitch angle, which means not directly equatorial. The nose is basically pitched up, which is necessary obviously, so as to have our LauncherOne rocket achieve some of the altitude as it passes on. And this, since you know that this rocket is not vertically taking off, right? So the propellant inside the tanks can wobble inside and splash inside, and basically not coming at the bottom of the tank. That's why they have this PST motors, which they say as pressure settling thrusters, which means you can say the Ulaj motors, as we have in all rockets, which basically fire just before the ignition, so as to ensure that all the propellant just come back to the engine section, and then it can light up. So yeah, that is the thing. So they literally push a big red button that releases the rocket from the pylon at cruising around 35,000 feet, and between 30 minutes and 4 hours. Yes, for today they will be looking in for around 1 hour deployment time. So that is the thing. Then the first stage burns. So there are 2 stages in the LauncherOne itself. We'll talk about that also. So after a 4-second free fall, the first stage engine ignites. Newton 3 is their first stage engine, and it will accelerate the rocket to more than 8,000 miles an hour. This is obviously not enough to achieve an orbit, but it is definitely enough to get itself into a proper height in altitude. So yes, After the fuel is spent, the first stage detaches and burns up in the atmosphere. So it's not a reusable first stage, but obviously you are using, I would definitely say that they are reusing their first stage, because their first stage basically is their airplane. So yeah, fairing separation occurs after like with launcher one now between 310 to 745 miles in altitude. The Newton 4 kicks off a series of burns to circularize the orbit, which is the second stage engine. And you can see that the first stage itself pushes the apoapse to a certain height, which is like 310 to 745 miles, which is good altitude. So yeah. Um, then the payload fairing pops open, exposing the satellites, and it will near its destination. And then finally the satellite deployment will happen, and after the mission is completed, they don't do an deorbit burn. The atmosphere, they rely on atmospheric drag, which will eventually pull the second stage back to the earth. Okay, so yeah, obviously the second stage is very very small, so I think it is unnecessary if they will go in for a deorbit maneuver, because obviously everything of this rocket is made based on the carbon fiber, so it is very much susceptible to re-entry heating, and hence it will burn up mostly in the atmosphere. Cool. Now let's have a look at the rocket itself, right, and the aircraft itself. This is just we look up, looked at their launch process, the pre-launch process, and everything which they do. And now let's have a look at their LauncherOne rocket. They have made their website so cool, so easy to understand, and everything. I mean, with animations and all. Wow, I just love this website. So yeah, the typical payload fairing 300 to 500 kgs of payload mass, which you can see this thing here, and 35,000 feet is its deployment altitude. Then talking about the Newton 4 engine, which is the second stage engine, you can see that it has a 6-minute runtime, and yes, 17,500 miles per hour typical max speed, which is an orbital speed. So yes, it has to achieve that. And talking about the fuel and the cycle which these two engines run on, the second stage as well as the first stage, they both run on gas generator cycle, and the fuel which they use is the RP1 and LOX. So yep, typical cryogenic fuel. Still they are using cryogenic fuels on this stage, which is so cool, because cryogenic fuel itself needs some type of handling. It is not easy to handle, and with this type of rocket which has to have sustain that cryogenic temperature till 4 hours, so mm, because anywhere from 30 minutes to 4 hours and with no topping off, you can have some serious disadvantage to liquid oxygen. So they have to design something, they must have designed already to compensate for that. But yeah, that is the thing. Now the LauncherOne lift off 70 feet in length, the jets, that's it. And takeoff weight is 57,000 pounds. Two-stage expendable rocket, which we can see here from this launch, the LauncherOne, and it has the fins, you can see that here. All carbon structure, carbon composite design, including lanyardless tanks, minimizes mass obviously. And then the engines, the Newton 3 engine, the first stage engine, 3-minute runtime, and 8,000 miles an hour of max speed, which we can see here. And we can see someone dancing also, right? So they this mission which they are doing, the Tubular Bells mission, will be their third flight. The first flight was not successful, the second flight was successful, but we didn't get the live stream, and now this is their third flight, which we will be getting the live stream also, and hopefully they are successful too. So yep. And there you go, the cosmic girl, the iconic cosmic girl. And it is operated by one pilot and one co-pilot, you can see here, and 3 flight engineers on board for a standard mission. This is what they have designed it as. And custom 747, as I said, they have removed all the seats. You can literally put in some experiments also, and obviously they have made this custom 747s to save on weight and eventually the delta V, maximizing your engine delta V as well as your thrust. So yeah, that is the thing here. World most reusable launch stage. Then this pylon structure, the Virgin Way, here you can see this is a pylon which can carry around 85,000 lbs, but the weight of the rocket itself is around 57,000. So in future they can basically go in for some more weight too. So yeah, that is the case here. It has a pylon mechanism. There are 3 pylon mechanism which releases the rocket when it wants to release them. Okay, ready for launch. So LauncherOne, air launch gives, okay, so to answer your question, Nishant Kumar, here you have it. Air launch gives LauncherOne a performance boost, igniting at Mach 0.9, which is around 270 kilometers an hour. But the major boost which happens, as I say, it happened because it is already above 2/3 of the atmosphere. You can see that here it is already above 2/3 of the atmosphere, which means 75% of the atmosphere is now behind, and now you don't have to lose all those delta V because of the drag forces and atmosphere and everything. That also the gravity turn loss is also minimized, because we already are launching in an horizontal configuration, going to an horizontal orbit, not like a sounding rocket which goes for normal rocket, I must say, which goes like vertical and then sideways. We have gravity losses, gravity turn losses, we have drag losses, atmospheric losses. All those losses basically is minimized because of this configuration, and we have a very tiny rocket which is capable of putting almost the same satellites which Electron puts. Like Electron also has this the payload capacity like this only, similar to like this, 300 kg to SSO, 500 to Leo, and we same thing is happening here. So yes, air launch system is a thing, and this air launch system is not I won't say it's very new concept. Yes, for all of them who have played KSP, they know they must have launched their satellites using this air launch system also. But I must say this is not a very new concept. There was one system in launch system in place known as Pegasus, which also had its last flight in recent months only. And yes, it has been in existence since 90s or 80s. I don't remember exactly the date, but air launch system was there. But right now, since this is a private industry, the Virgin Air Orbit, they have optimized it for today's standards. So yeah, 24 rockets to be built annually, cool flight system and everything. So I think we are good on there. Everything which we need to know, we already know now. Cool. Okay, so moving on. Since we just talked about everything, let's just summarize everything. Okay, so this is the LauncherOne rocket. We have the Newton 3 engine, 3-minute runtime. Okay, let me just zoom in for a bit. So we have 3-minute runtime. Logs RP1 pump fed engine, which means gas generator engine, which we can see here. Fully composite structure, an autonomous flight safety system, which is nothing but the flight termination system that is autonomous. That That's what they wanted to say. And the interstage adapter, the Newton 4 engine, which we can see that it has a very big nozzle for obvious reason. It has to work in vacuum, and we know vacuum nozzles are huge in size. So Newton 4 engine, it has around 6 minutes of runtime completed in 2 burns to allow the circularization of the orbit, and it produces around 5,000 pounds of thrust. If you are on metric system guy, 22.7 kilonewtons of thrust for the second stage, and 368 kilonewtons of thrust for the first stage. Okay. And the payload mass is 500 kilograms, typical altitude 500 to 1000 kilometers. And the Boeing 747 needs no introduction, obviously. We already know everything about this aircraft, so I think we are good on that. One thing I would like you to see is their mission profile, which is here. So have a look at this thing here. So the main engine, you know, this is height above earth, KFT. I don't know what KFT is though, but 200 I really don't know what KFT is, but basically the main engine start happens at around 10,000 meters, and then the rock, they actually have, okay, so wait a sec, rocket ignition happens from here. Okay, cool. So this is the normal altitude, I suppose that, yeah, this is the normal altitude. The rocket engine start ignition happens from here, which is around 10,000 meters. The main engine start just after 4 seconds of deployment. Then the main engine cutoff happens. The second engine start one happens just after that. The fairing separation, obviously, because it is out of the altitude atmosphere now, and then the second engine cut off, and then finally the payload separation. One, second engine start, two, second engines cut off, two, and then finally the payload separation. So this is typically the mission profile which they will be following, but only difference for every launch which will be happening will be with the Cosmic Girl deployment time. Today it will be around 1 hour, but it can, you know, vary from 30 minutes to 4 hours. So yes, KFT is 1000 feet. Okay, thank you so much, Benjamin. Cool. Then it's in meters. It's not in meters, it's in feet. Cool. Then okay, kilo feet. KFT means kilo feet. Okay. Cool. What else do we have? Okay, talking about the payloads which it is carrying. Okay, first of all, have a look at the views which we got from their previous flight, which was successful. So these are some of the clicks which they got from their previous mission. And yeah, see, this Virgin Orbit company will be having one great live stream. I'm expecting that, because they literally will be having one American Sign Language you know, person also doing the sign language conversion of the normal text, normal speech. So that would be so cool. It is literally opening the space to everyone. So no one does this sign language thing, but they will be doing this. So, and yes, I have seen their previous live stream, the highlights of it, and they do a pretty good job covering everything. Let's hope they do it. This will be my first live stream. Obviously, for everyone, this will be their first live stream for the Virgin Orbit. Let's hope they don't mess it up and we get a good stream. Cool. The flight will happen. Yes, they are live right now. 6, yes. And now I am moving on to that. Still only okay. Tubular Bells mission, this is what they call them. But although we are just right now waiting for them to come live, they have started the stream but don't know whether. Okay, cool, they are live.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I truly believe that responsive small launch will change the world.
That was a good intro.
Good morning and welcome to the live stream for Virgin Orbit's Tubular Bells Part 1 mission. We're here live from our studio in Long Beach, just down the street from our manufacturing headquarters. My name is Ruthie Bush and I'm a senior environmental health and safety engineer. I manage the environmental compliance programs here in Long Beach, as well as our Mojave test site. And today, I'm one of your live stream co-hosts, along with my colleagues, Pau and Wade.
Hi everyone, my name is Pau Pineda, and I'm a propulsion test engineer on our Mojave team. We have a really exciting mission for you all, and we're so grateful that you're able to join us. Today, we'll be launching various payloads to orbit from 3 different customers from 3 different countries around the world. I'm going to go into the details of our launch in a minute, but first, let's introduce our third co-host, Wade.
Hi, I'm Wade McElroy, and I'm Chief of Staff
Those
at Fox
animations
Space, Virgin Orbit's
background.
government-facing subsidiary. And today, along with Pau, I'm going to be giving you some of the play-by-play and color commentary as we move through the rest of the mission at Mojave Air and Spaceport. And to bring you up to speed on where we're at there, we have a fully fueled rocket, both LOX and fuel, and we're expecting to have cruise step here soon with an approximate takeoff time of 6:50. So we'll be back for plenty of updates as we move through the mission, but stay tuned and we'll keep you updated.
As Wade just mentioned, it's already been a very busy morning up in Mojave. One quick note I want to point out is that this is our 3rd launch now in the world of COVID-19. And as of just a few weeks ago, the California Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or Cal-OSHA, lifted their COVID restrictions in the workplace. The new regulations allow for vaccinated employees to work mask-free if they choose. So when we show views from Mission Control and the Hammerhead, you'll see that our crews are following those new guidelines and regulations. The same is true for our folks here in the studio, where we've all been fully vaccinated. It's great to see the vaccine starting to roll out, and we're hoping that'll allow us to return to normalcy very soon. Fortunately, COVID won't stand in the way of what we hope is a very successful launch today. With that said, we're going to take a quick break now to let you guys check out some of the operations going on at the Hammerhead, but we'll be back soon with more updates on our Tubular Bells Part 1 mission. Stay tuned.
Cool, so they do have a good
1:30 until we complete the S2 load.
Copy that.
Okay, so these are the live views. So how cool is this, man? They are right now, must be topping off the fuel lines as well as providing the air conditioning to the payloads in there and providing the doing the last minute checks which they have to do. As you can see, the Boeing has not yet, basically I should say, the Cosmic Girl has not yet taken off, because it will take around like 26 minutes from now to take off finally, as he said, 6:50 time. I don't know what is that, or does that mean for here, but expected takeoff is at 6:50 watt, 6:50 Pacific EDT watt. Okay. And the T minus which I have on there is basically the rocket launch time, the deployment time of the rocket. So yeah, anyone can convert the time of the takeoff. Is it like 25 minutes until the takeoff or what? Because they haven't mentioned whether it is EDT, PT or what. Or maybe just I should check once they are doing. Yes, Virgin Orbit are showing some really cool stuff. Exactly, Octagrabber. I have actually seen their highlight stream for the first mission. and they did a very awesome job for having all those views and everything. So yep, right now also you can see their pre-launch activities, the LauncherOne rocket, the this cosmic girl right now being configured, and yeah, wow. Exactly. I'm also looking forward to the Virgin Galactic launch stream also. I hope that they do these similar kind of graphics and all, because literally, as you can see, they have provided every detail which we want to have right now. They don't have even taken off from the runway, and we are getting all the things which we need to see, right? Because they know what customer and the people wants.
Welcome back. Since this is the first time we're streaming to the public, we wanted to take some time to talk a little bit about who we are and what we do here at Virgin Orbit. Virgin Orbit was founded in 2017 to pursue our goal of improving access to space to improve life here on Earth. We're particularly interested in unleashing the full potential of small satellites, which are proving to be incredibly valuable, low-cost tools for education, business, scientific research, and more. Small satellites have historically suffered from a lack of launch options outside of rideshares. So by providing a dedicated launch service, we hope to provide small satellite makers and operators more control over their launch schedules and even their ultimate orbital destinations.
To fulfill this purpose, LauncherOne was purpose-built designed by the Virgin Orbit team, and is comprised of two elements in its air launch solution. So we're going to jump into those two parts. First, our rocket LauncherOne, and second, our carrier aircraft, which we call Cosmic Girl. Jumping into LauncherOne, she's capable of lifting up to 300 kilograms or 650 pounds to low Earth orbit. She's comprised of two stages, both of which use liquid oxygen, or LOX, and RP1 as the fuel. Each stage has an individual engine. On first stage, we use an engine called Newton 3, which will run for about 3 minutes today. And then on second stage, we have an engine called Newton 4 that will run for about 6 minutes. The overall structure of the entire launch system is predominantly made of carbon composite and was purpose-built for this air launch solution. Moving on to Cosmic Girl. Cosmic Girl, we started our search across the world of what plane to use and finally settled on using a 747. When looking for the right 747 to join our team, that new member, we searched the world far and wide and settled on something that was actually very close to home with our friends at Virgin Atlantic. And in 2015, we were able to have Cosmic Girl join our family. She, in her service, was actually named Cosmic Girl. Before she was ready to go and start launching rockets for us, however, we had to make a few simple modifications. First off, we were able to take out all of the seats to reduce the weight. We also took out a few other things like the upper class bar, which is now a conference room in the facility down the street. And last but not least, we added our pylon, which is our separation system for the rocket.
They need to remove one
Overall,
of the
with
engine.
these two things, this air launch solution provides something that is just unparalleled in mobility and provides a way to create new missions and greater flexibility for all these small satellites that are joining the small sat revolution. So we hope that with this, we'll be able to bring responsive air launch and responsive launch to the world, and such that you can go to any orbit at any time from anywhere.
Okay, so there you go. We have the countdown here right now. We are at rocket locks and gas load has been completed. Yes, it has been completed. T-1 hour. Okay, so first of all, I have updated my countdown till the takeoff time. So we are T-1 hour 9 minutes until the takeoff. And yes, the locks and the gas load has been completed. Looking good for a good takeoff right now. And let's hope everything looks good here. Okay. 54, 17, rockets drop ready mode.
Ground control for LC, I believe we'll have one more pulse on the S2 cryo bottle before meeting our minimum target.
Copy that. Thank you. Ground and crew, appreciate the update.
Oh, that's a good question, Reen. Do you think they could use the airplane's hydraulic system engines to spin start their rocket engine? Hmm. Ah. I don't think so because first of all, their mission profile demands that the rocket engine does not start immediately when you just drop it off. So yes, I don't think so that can happen because the engine basically ignites after 3 to 4 seconds after deployment. So what happens is it goes to an cruising altitude of around 10,000 meters or 35,000 feet, and at that point it pitches over to an angle of 27 degree, and then it drops the rocket, and then the rockets achieves a free fall for 4 seconds or so, and at that point of time the engine fires after 4 seconds. But before engine fires, we have this thing called PSTs, which are on. Okay.
We are good to proceed with step 130 and start boarding the COPV loads.
Copy that.
Okay, so yes, what was I saying? Yeah, so they have this PSTs which on the rocket, which is what they call as pressure settling thrusters, which means which actually has the role of providing the ullage to the rocket. They are basically the ullage motors, you can say, or the ullage thrusters for the rocket, which settles all the fuel back down to the engine section so that the fuel can flow to the engines and it can start.
Step 134.
Copy that. Thanks, LD. All right, this is LC on control room Alpha and Echo. At this point in time, we're going to be stepping into step 134 of Proc 346. We are going to abort auto 3, 5, 30, and 52. So standing by, opening auto 3. Auto 3 S2 cold helium load, aborting in 3, 2, 1. Auto 3 aborted. Opening auto 5.
Whoa,
Opening
see
auto
this graphic.
5, S2 warm GN2 load, boarding in 3, 2, 1. 1.
Confirmed.
Okay, opening auto 30. Let you know when to proceed.
Copy that. I have the bounds ready.
Copy, thank you.
Okay. Are we back here? Yes, we are. And sorry for the disturbance. My network had some issues, but we are good now. Okay. So yeah, I was saying that this this Boeing 747 had one spare engine, should I say, space on one of the wings. Okay, so it was already configured to handle extra weight on one side of the wing. Okay, so what they did, but I must say that the engine weight and the rocket weight is a bit different. Okay, the rocket weighs much more than what the engine weighs, the spare engine would weigh. So they actually had to make some adjustments to it. I won't say they literally reinforce the wings, but yep, they needed to do some kind of adjustment in maybe in the configuration of how it will fly, or maybe just reinforcing the wings only.
This is Long Beach IT, stepping off comms for a minute.
Cover to Long Beach IT. Could we evaluate current warnings on warning board?
Copy that. Good to clear all at this time.
Cover that. Understood. Clearing all.
In support of today's mission, we have hundreds of parameters spread across both the rocket and the airplane. We've gone through and cherry-picked some of the exact best ones to go and give you situational awareness on what's happening for today's mission. And in particular, we put this together in what we call a graphical user interface, or GUI. I'm going to give you a rundown of one of the GUIs that we'll be sharing with you today. So in particular, when we cut over to this, we're going to be able to see in the dead center of this is where I'm going to be focusing the most. And this shows what our loading operations look like. Following along this morning, we started off at 0, and you can see across the board we have a full rocket, both for first stage and for second stage, with LOX and fuel, and even some of the gases that we have on board the rocket are fully fueled. Over on the left-hand side, you're going to be able to see what Cosmic Girl is doing. Cosmic Girl right now is at a blistering 0 miles per hour as we're finishing up the filling operations. This will update as we move through the rest of the mission. Across the top, these are blank right now, but will be filled when we're going through the ascent of the rocket. We'll have both the altitude, the airspeed, as well as the acceleration encountered by the payloads on board the rocket today. And then across the bottom, we have some situational awareness on some of the added elements that we have on board Cosmic Girl, such as the pallet gases, our pylon, or our separation system that we use for the rocket, and the status of some of our ground support equipment. This GUI will be getting updated throughout the day as we move through some of the different phases of flight. So by all means, tune in, have some situational awareness, and we'll keep you updated throughout the rest of the mission.
Cool. This GUI, as they say, is very, very informative, and whosoever wants to take advantage of it, I know some guys who will be like, cheering out all loud right now just seeing this graphic out here, because they value the data which it will be giving, and basically they can use that for
Okay, fine. Just making sure that you're prepped and ready to go for initiation of 299 whenever we get ready. Super ready. Copy that.
Okay, so yeah, I know those guys would be very much interested in the data, because they have to design those applications out there, and they would be very delighted to have those. So yeah, and if you have any other questions, you can surely ask me right here, right now. This is a very new for me too, because obviously this is the first live stream of this Virgin orbit. So we will discover some new things also as we go forward, so look out for that. They are right now showing their
control. Currently evaluating S2 DPO tank warning. Copy that. Thank you.
their launch site basically, and the different views of the Cosmic Girl right now. If you will, if you can see, there is some teeth-like structure just at the bottom of the rocket. That is basically the PSTs, the pressure settling thruster here. Yeah, thank you for zooming in this image. This one, this thing here, these teeth-like structure, these are basically the pressure settling thrusters, which will fire just before the ignition to have all the fuel pushed back towards the engine section. So yeah, that's how it works. And we can see that the fins actually have some sort of control surfaces, or what is it, like me only, or don't know yet, but looks like it does have any control surfaces, but we'll have to see. Obviously these fins are necessary for it to maintain the the pitch of the flight, because it will be cruising at a high speed at that time. So
fluids back on. Welcome back, ground fluids.
Okay, yeah, so they haven't
control room. We are good to proceed with the stage 2 LOX tank pressure. We evaluated that there could have been some liquid left in the coils that got pushed into the tank, approximately 4 pounds. that would explain the increase in pressure that was seen overnight.
Copy that, CE. Thanks for the update.
Ticket 5249 is being routed for closure.
Copy. Thank you, sir.
LCC on control room, we are go for commit to approach LCCs.
Copy that. Understood. Appreciate it, CE.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I was saying that the engines, they have not removed any of the engines. Yes, there was one space and the capability to accommodate one spare engine just for the transport purposes or what. So that's why they have chosen this Boeing 747, because it already had that capability to accommodate one spare engine if necessary. So it's like already has that different what do you say, mass on both of the wings. One has two engines plus rocket, or two engines plus an engine. So it was already configured for that, although they had to change some of the structures because the rocket weight was obviously more than that of the engine.
Welcome back, Long Beach OT. CNC stepping off the car food real quick. Cover that, CNC.
And this line which you are seeing here going inside the payload fairing, yes, this is going inside the payload fairing. This will be providing the air conditioning to the payloads. Yes, it is very much necessary, because we know that there is heat generated by electronics, and there is no venting or something like that. So air conditioning is provided to the payload fairing. Here you can see that this must be those fuel lines for the second stage. This is how small the second stage is, just this much. This will have the oxygen tank.
Copy that. Thank you, ground. All right, at this time we're going to be stopping or aborting out of Auto 150. Auto 150, Marvin to Roomba, command check. Aborting in 3, 2, 1. Confirmed abort. All right, at this time I'm going to be stopping all 3 dogs. Opening dog 001, deep dot safing watchdog, and stopping in 3, 2, 1. Stopping dog 002, ground Marvin safing watchdog in 3, 2, 1. Stopping dog 003, plane Marvin safing watchdog in 3, 2, 1.
Confirmed all stopped.
Copy. Rocket, at this time, you're clear to proceed with steps 147 through 149, venting the LOX tanks for approach.
Copy that. Would you like me to announce on all pads or just on control?
All pads, please.
Copy that.
Alpha and Echo at this time.
Understood. This is Rocket on control room, Alpha and Echo. I'll be setting stage 2 locks, top set points to 23 low, 40 high. Updating in 3, 2, 1.
And we can
Confirmed
actually
vent.
okay.
Venting stage 1 lock similarly, except lower bound 20, upper bound 40. Venting in 3, 2, 1. Stage 2's venting is complete, setting upper limit to 50 psi. Stage 1 venting is complete as well, setting upper bound to 53.2. Complete.
LC, CD, LD, and CE confirm Wolf Loop and Wolf Team are good for approach. Confirm.
Go for approach.
Copy that, thank you. That's your plan, confirm. Can I start 299? Confirm, you can start 299. This is LC on control room, Alpha and Echo. At this point in time, the red team is clear for approach to Hammerhead.
Okay, so yes, now I can talk about something. Okay.
Welcome back. Let's talk a little bit about our launch trailers. Generally speaking, we only need 3 things to fly from any given launch site: a launch license, a runway, and a set of ground support equipment, or GSE. Our GSE footprint is actually very small and inexpensive as compared to larger, more traditional launch systems. It amounts to just a handful of transportable trailers, you'll see in this graphic coming up, which are key to our system's unique mobility. Case in point, for this launch here in Mojave today, the trailers literally drove into the spaceport on regular roads, just like any other car. Then we hooked them up to the rocket for loading and fueling and other pre-launch operations. The cool thing about this process is that it can be replicated at other launch sites worldwide. Once we cut back to the Hammerhead camera, see if you can figure out what each trailer does.
Yes, they actually needed to make sure that they have
Confirmed
this
Proc 390 has started as well.
type of feasibility in their logistics also, because they will be traveling all over the world to launch these planes. They already have these 3 launch sites, so they need to make something like a modular logistic system and a very simplistic simpler system, so that it can be expanded all over to their launch sites, whichever they have right now. Right now they have 3, but they will be expanding on that also. So they literally have these launch trailers out there, which carry all the equipments, which you can see the scale also, the Boeing 747 and the launch trailer scales. So
This
yes,
is
they
LC
can.
on Control Room Alpha and Echo. At this time, I'm going to verify that S1, S2 proper monitoring safe to approach pressures. We're going to leave tops in auto mode, which is a deviation from Proc 401 in step 10, which states put it in manual mode.
S1 Prop Wilco. S2 Prop Wilco.
Copy, thank you. And verifying all auto sequences have been stopped at this time. Confirmed all autos have been stopped.
Okay, so I can talk about what I was saying.
Rocket currently is in manual mode.
You can actually see here that we have the second stage smaller than the fairing. This is okay, cool.
To give a quick update from the MCC, the cameras that you've been watching out at the Hammerhead been showing a lot of the filling up of the rocket. They're about to get a lot busier. We're going to have our red team, or what we call internally our wolf pack, go and approach and start disconnecting the rocket, as well as having our flight crew step onto the airplane. So keep a lookout and expect a few more people joining the show today.
And they have started coming in. Cool. Okay, so yeah, this is not the view which actually has that thing, but here you can see the PSTs, the thrusters, the engine, the fins out there. And it is not, the rocket itself is not very much big. It's only around 70 feet in height, so you can see that here.
Control room gas pipe manual valve states are set. Proc 29 on step 34. Copy. Seaplane and control room set KPIs to commit takeoff.
Let's take a look back at our most recent and first mission to space, launched MO2. It could not have gone more perfectly. From ground operations to satellite deployment, everything fell into place just as we had planned. I think that every Virgin orbit remembers where they were the day that we successfully made it to space for the first time. I know for myself, I was with my family at the end of the runway and we watched Cosmic Girl take off right over our heads. It was just an incredible moment for me. Wade, where were you during the last launch?
So it was the time of COVID. I think that we've all encountered a little bit of that recently, and I was alone watching the launch by myself in a hotel room in Palmdale, California, awaiting my now fiance to come back. She's now today's launch director. So it was a personal experience of being able to go up there during COVID, but it was great to see her face when she got back after the successful launch.
Absolutely. COVID made our celebrations just a little bit more difficult than we had hoped, but it was still memorable nonetheless. Yeah. I think the moment that we saw our payload fairing separate and we finally saw our payloads in space, and we saw the curvature of the Earth in space, that was the moment that I knew we had really, really made it. Ruthie, did you have any favorite memorable moments from the last launch?
Yeah, I think for me the most memorable moment was seeing the blue skies go to black. And it was just such an incredible moment because that's when we knew LauncherOne had made it to space.
Yeah, absolutely. It was such an important day for the whole Virgin Orbit team, but also for the whole industry. It was the first time anybody had air-launched a liquid-fueled orbital-class rocket to space. And on top of that, we were able to deploy 10 different satellites from universities across the United States to their desired orbit. With our system proven out, we're now moving forward towards our ultimate goal of providing flexible and affordable space to countries all around the world. Let's take a minute to watch a quick recap video of our last launch.
LC, this is LB on control room. We are currently on track for our nominal timeline, and our current drop time has 19:25 UTC.
Plane and control room, flight crew has been boarded the aircraft.
Cosmic Girl, this is Orbit Base. You are go for takeoff.
Copy, go for takeoff.
Altitude 3000.
Cosmic Girl is starting the turn to the inbound. Pulling now.
Release.
Disignited.
Confirm Newton 3 engine startup.
Max Alpha achieved. Stage set, brake wires broken.
Newton 4 startup complete.
He's recovered and we are now returning to base.
Bearing, brake wires broken.
LauncherOne's in space. Mauritius has confirmed acquisition signal. Payload separation confirmed.
That would have been so good if they would have like given some timelines, as in when they will ignite the engines again. Okay, let me see. They did give the mission profile just at the starting of this stream. Let me just move on to that and see if we get something. Let me just check and come back. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that appreciation. Appreciate it, man. Or not girl, you are a girl, right? So okay, thank you so much. Yes, do join me for the SpaceX launch. We do have some great events coming up for that. And yes, right now let me just confirm when the second engine start will happen. Just wait a sec. Okay, so the Cosmic Girl is now returning, and I just checked in that we should be getting something at around T plus 40 minutes. The second engine start.
Stepping off for the day.
Here we can see the Cosmic Girl returning back to the runway. And yes, to answer everybody's question, we should be getting something, the second engine start happening at around T plus 40 minutes. So that's coming up soon.
Burn 2 prep start expected.
Cool. And guys, if you liked what I do consider becoming a member. It really helps the channel as well as me to continue delivering this kind of streams and events and videos. So do consider becoming a member. You will get great perks, or if you want, you can become a Patreon also. Both of them have great perks, exclusive perks. You can check them out. Also, if you want, super chat is enabled for one-time funding. Right now the Cosmic Girl is passing through the clouds, maybe circling it and preparing to land now. Yes, I think it is coming down.
Welcome back. So we have another special guest joining us this morning from Mojave, Grzegorz, who is the co-founder and CEO of Sat Revolution, which is another one of our customers on our flight today from Poland. Hi, Grzegorz. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing this morning?
Hello, I'm really excited. So it's really nice to meet you all here in Mojave Desert.
Very nice to meet you too, and definitely an exciting day for Virgin Orbit and Sat Revolution. So we've learned a little bit about your satellites. I hear they're optical satellites. Could you tell us more about your Stork constellation?
Yeah, this is a really exciting time for us because we are launching our first two satellites from our constellation. This is the constellation is called Storks. This constellation is for agriculture purposes. We want to serve for agriculture customers in United States. So in this year, we are launching 14 satellites, and in next year it will be up to 60. So this is a really important time for us. First two satellites on orbit to test all our equipment, and we are ready to go for the next launches.
That's amazing. Well, we really look forward to working together in the future and finding ways to cultivate Poland's growing satellite community. So could you tell us a little bit more about what kind of data these satellites will be collecting?
Okay, so the satellites is doing imagining the vision RGB plus near bands. So this is for the agricultural purposes. With those data, you can estimate about the vegetation when you have to crop the fields and when you have to put more water on the field. So this is really important data for all our clients. We signed the agreement to serve like 2 million kilometers square for our clients. So this is we are really excited to prepare all those information for them and help them to grow better food.
That's just amazing. Thank you so much for that explanation. And for those who don't know, the live stream studio we're in today is just upstairs from where those exact payloads that Zagor's is referring to were incorporated into the payload adapter and encapsulated before it's being sent up to Mojave. So it's just so awesome that those exact payloads are in space now. So how would you describe the satellite landscape in Poland right now, and where do you see it headed next?
In Poland, the landscape is looking really well. We established Polish Space Agency in 2012. Right now, more and more companies are growing in Poland. We are the first one which building the whole satellites in Poland. We are the first one which are launching our satellites on orbit, but there are plenty other companies which are doing a lot of stuff for the ESA partners and for other partners all around the world. Also, there is many institutes and universities which are doing more and more research with space for space purpose in Poland. So this is really exciting time for Poland, for Polish space, for our country.
Awesome. That's just so exciting. So why fly with Virgin Orbit?
Firstly, because they are really flexible regarding the date of launch and to integrate our satellite. We are really really excited with the whole cooperation. We started to meet with Virgin staff like 2 years ago, and actually this first launch is only the beginning of our further cooperation. I hope so.
Yeah, that's just so amazing. Well, we're so proud to provide a tailored launch service to you, and we're so very happy that you are on board with us today for this mission. Again, so nice to meet you, Zagor's. Thank you again for joining us and being part of our mission today. Pau, I heard we have another special guest joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on that interview, Zagor's. We've met, representatives from the DoD, from SatRev, and now I'd like to introduce our next guest, Lieutenant Colonel Bernie Belge, and he is going to be representing the Royal Netherlands Air Force.
Hi, hello. And I will not be alone. I will be joined by Jeroen from ISIS. So we have MOD and industry here together.
Great, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. How is it out there in Mojave today?
Exciting, yeah. There's still one more exciting point with the ignition of the second stage and the deployment. But yeah, we passed already many critical phases, so I'm relieved. Of course,
Absolutely.
We were full confidence, but it is always exciting.
No, it's a very great day.
Yeah, I hope you have been enjoying the festivities up there. I've heard that they are going great. Can you guys talk to us a little bit about the satellite that you've sent up today, the BRIC-2 mission, and what it means for the Royal Netherlands Air Force?
Absolutely. The BRIC-2, that is our first military satellite to be launched from the Netherlands. So it's an historic milestone from that perspective. And we have several objectives with this project. The first one, the objective is that a small country like the Netherlands, we actually have a big space footprint. So we wanted to demonstrate that with all the technology available within the industry, with Jeroen, within the Knowledge Institute like NLR, and the MOD, that we're capable of designing and producing a satellite with military relevance.
Yeah, and, incredible.
For us as a small satellite builder, it's great to see that we have a government customer where we can work together with in a very innovative way to accelerate the level of innovation for our armed forces using technology developed right here in our own country.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad that we were able to provide a launch service for you all so you could get this, very valuable satellite up into your orbit today. Can you talk to us a little bit
That's
about...
our second objective, if I may. It's also, we want to demonstrate that we are able to build the satellites in the Netherlands, but we also want to focus on the niche capacity and technology we have in the Netherlands. But we do not want to repeat capabilities that are already available in the coalition. So the cooperation with Virgin and SMC here in Los Angeles also identifies the strength of international cooperation to develop space capabilities.
Absolutely, that is a great point. Thank you so much for bringing that up. So speaking of which, do you want to talk about what your relationship with Virgin Orbit will be, how it's evolving from here?
Yeah, the two parts of the question. I'll take the first one from the military perspective, because the BRIC-2 is really a demonstrator for responsive space capability. In the future, in a congested and contested space environment, we see the need to launch responsively small satellites with a responsive launch capability. That's why we selected Virgin Orbit, to demonstrate the concept of responsive launch capability. And Jeroen, from the industry perspective?
Yeah, from an industry perspective, we're next to a satellite builder in a turnkey fashion. We're also a rideshare provider, so the Virgin Orbit launch capability fits very well in that mix of launch vehicles that we use. So we hope to be a solid partner for Virgin Orbit and a regular customer of your rides to orbit in the next years.
Well, that is exactly what we love to hear. Thank you so much for joining us, both of you, and sharing all those words with us. Incredibly important. I'm going to let you both go back to the festivities. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I hope we get updates for you all soon on how we're doing with deployment.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
And we have the Cosmic Girl landing. Whoa. There you go. Cosmic Girl back on the runway. Now she will rest for some time and then will prepare for another mission whenever it is. The reverse thrust of the engines, are they performing a reverse thrust? They should be. That's the best part of the aircraft. I must say that the reverse thrust which the engines perform. I love that. I love those covers being opened up and then it produces the reverse thrust. Wow. Well done for this coverage, or pathetic coverage of the launch of that toy. Nope. I mean, if you have seen the launch of means the launch from the starting, you would have seen some great footage and great graphics which they got. It was only at the last time, means the closure time, that we didn't get anything proper. So yes, although right now they should have deployed these those they first of all they should have circularized the orbit with the SES-2, and then they should have deployed the payloads to just let me just confirm if we have anything else here, any updates or so, but they should have at least gave us some indication on what is actually happening now. So now, nope, nothing on the successful orbit till yet.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've all been watching the live stream, and as you can see, Cosmic Girl just landed back at the Mojave Air and Spaceport. So she'll be taxiing a bit before she gets back to where she's supposed to be, and the crew will be deplaning just shortly. I do want to mention that the crew is all safe and well, and we hope to see them soon. So in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about our mission name and mission patch. Back in 1973, Richard Branson, then a young entrepreneur and record shop owner, met a young new musician named Mike Oldfield, who made a demo tape unlike anything else on the airwaves. Richard was so moved by Mike's music that he decided he would help get the record made. The pair played the demo for nearly every record label they could, but no one was willing to take the chance on it. It just sounded so different from the big rock and roll that dominated the charts at the time. With no one willing to do the job, Richard decided he would simply create his own record label to help his friend make and release the album. And thus, Virgin Records was born. That album, called Tubular Bells, went on to become a smash international hit, becoming one of the top sellers of the decade. For this mission, we wanted to tip our hat to the creative work and bold decisions that kicked off the Virgin Empire. Like Tubular Bells, our customers are doing things a little differently than the rest of the industry. And we love their work so much that we've created a whole new way to launch, tailored just for them. Tubular Bells, the first track on the first album from the first band ever signed to Virgin Records. What a way to kick off our commercial service. We paid homage to Tubular Bells on our patch for this mission, as you can see in the bottom left corner of the screen. In fact, like any good mission patch, ours features a number of symbols that come together to tell the story of our mission. Check out this video up next to learn more about our mission name.
If you think of the history of the Virgin Group, it really all starts with Tubular Bells. I mean, you have this iconic piece of music that nobody would publish because it was a lot different than anything else out on the market. Thankfully, Mike Oldfield connects with a young guy named Richard Branson who's just started up a record store, and Richard and his colleagues got so excited about the music. They loved it so much they couldn't believe that no one would publish it. And you have this song that now has lived on all these decades later in everything from the soundtrack to horror films to the opening games of the Olympics. I love hearing Richard and Mike talking now from a modern perspective about what it was like for them back in 1973 when they had this piece of art that they couldn't get out there and just said, we're gonna do whatever it takes to get this music into the ears of the people who need to hear it.
I gave her copies of my demo tapes. Finally got a call from Simon Draper, which was Richard's partner.
I remember hearing the tape, just thinking it was hauntingly gorgeous, and we just thought, well, you know, maybe we should try to start a record company just to put out Tubular Bells. We had John Peel played in the whole album. He was captivated by it.
Anything he played, everybody would say, all right, well, this is important, we're going to listen to it. And when he played the entire album, used his whole show, I couldn't believe it.
No, it was a wonderful moment.
It got propelled worldwide to the top of the charts, and it stayed there for ages and ages.
Our whole Virgin Orbit team is so excited to be part of the Virgin family. It's core to who we are, to what gets us as individuals excited about working here, and a lot of what makes our customers excited about flying with us.
A letter from the President of the Republic of Poland, Mr. Andrzej Duda.
But that should not have happened, right? Because usually the separation actually happens when they have the contact with the ground station, and right now we haven't heard from Good Orbit about Good Orbit or anything like that. Waiting. I hope everything is good, because I don't think so they take you require such a long time to confirm. We are like T+1 hour now, and most probably most of the launch services do the payload separation after they have the signal acquisition. So yes, we can't do anything but wait. That's it. And I am trying to okay, So regarding the Transporter 2 mission of the SpaceX, it is right on time. Yes, it is. We are right now like 3 hours away from that mission to come, and everything is looking good on that. The weather is looking good, everything is cool. We are just waiting for the launch time to happen, but still waiting in for the confirmation from the Virgin Orbit.
LCN control rooms, be advised, pad team has completed their sleep procedures and activities for the night. They will be leaving the site.
To stream the OneWeb 8 mission, yes, I will, Preeti, and I will do this mission in specific because right now we just heard that the Bharti Global has invested another around 13,000 crore rupees or so, not 3,700 crore rupees in OneWeb. So it is right now the what do you say, the biggest shareholder of that company. So yes.
Okay, I'm gonna step off for a minute. Coming Grant, I think you can step off for the day.
So thank you so much, John Wilson, for that 20 just to help you with your new studio setup, and in appreciation for your excellent
Hi everyone,
coverage.
thank you so much for joining us today. As we'd mentioned previously, unlike Newton 3 where we have one burn, we have two burns on Newton 4. So we've been going through that coast period and have been waiting for the second burn. We're patiently waiting for all of that data to come. And gosh, as the rocket moves around at speeds approaching upper level Mach numbers and orbital velocities, it takes a while for us to get around the Earth.
So we're going to go ahead and close out our public live stream here. Just so you all know, everything has been nominal up to this point. We expect that everything is still going well, but it's going to take a minute for us to get the rest of that data and be able to confirm successful payload deployment. We expect that we'll receive that data in about an hour, so just stay tuned.
And for further updates, keep an eye on our Twitter page at Virgin Orbit. We'll share an update as soon as we have more information from our telemetry downlink. Thanks again to everyone who tuned in today for our Tubular Bells Part 1 mission. And thanks again to our customers flying with us on this awesome journey to space. We'll see you all again soon for our next mission with LauncherOne.
Okay, so finally we got some updates, and that must be related to the data download. Everything, as they said, was nominal up to this point, so that's a good thing, right? And thanks so much, John Wilson. It really helps. Surely would be doing some studio work in coming days, and maybe doing after that having the face reveal, okay, of mine. So thank you so much all for joining in. You guys are great. I hope you like the stream, and right now in just 3 hours from now the SpaceX will be launching their Falcon 9 for the Transporter 2 mission. A very interesting mission coming up, so do join me on that. And until then, this is Priyanshu Roila. You just saw Rocket Gyan. Stay safe, stay healthy, and bye bye.